now back to your regularly scheduled program.
I finally did it. In the around October of 2023, I started my One Piece journey, and then on February, I was officially caught up by the end of February. One Piece as a series has been something I did plan on watching it eventually, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of things are just pointing me to watch it, especially hearing that it was on break, and then after watching the live action and really loving the live action, hearing that the creator said it's like in the end game and all that shit. So just all of it, and seeing like the fights on TikTok and all that shit, I was like, fuck it, let me just watch it. And I watched it. Yeah, I finally I can see it now. I never. It's not like I didn't think it was going to be good. I just don't. I don't like pirates. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. Like, that's not something I'm like, yo, I fuck with pirates. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never, it's not like, I don't think I've ever not enjoyed, but like, yo, put on that pirate movie, or like, put on that pirate show, or like nothing. So, I had pretty low expectations. And then, knowing how long the series is, I was like, I don't know if I'd really be interested in it, but after finally catching up, I think there's 1,122 episodes out, something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty high up.
Yeah, but yeah, where we're at is at the end of Egghead, or no? Or is it? I'm pretty sure it's Nexus. Like, we're done with Egghead, right? Or was that the end? Ooh, no, that wasn't the end of Egghead.
I don't think that was the end of Egghead, because it kind of traded off into Garp and Blackbeard, and then some of the older characters that got really involved in the show less frequently. So I think Egghead is gonna come back now. It's gonna come back, and then the final ending of Egghead is gonna happen within these couple episodes. But I'm so happy that you watched the show. Like, when you told me you watched it, I was so shocked. I thought you were never gonna watch it, and you can be like the voice of One Piece lovers. You like people that haven't seen it yet, because a lot of people say, okay, 1,022 episodes. A show can't be that good if it has that many episodes. And you're a living proof of watching the show and thinking that it wasn't going to be good, and then end up loving it. So
yeah, I think that's a dumb like thought process. It's not like I didn't say like, oh, a show that long can't be that good. I feel like that's such a stupid thing to say, like, because like that's like saying, obviously it's not the same comparison. It's like SpongeBob's on today. It's like, SpongeBob's still going. That shit can't be good. It's like, it's obviously good if it's still going. Like, that means people are interested in the series or whatever. But I'm definitely living proof that the show is definitely, I definitely think it's as good as people say it is. But there's a lot of discrepancies in from what I've seen of the series up till now versus like how people talk about it. And I think a lot of it is just nostalgia, which is fair because a lot of people started the series a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? So, versus like watching it all now. Like, me watching it all now, I ran through fucking 20 plus years of content. So I pretty much digested it a little bit different from others. Like, me personally, I'm not gonna lie. After watching the series, I'm happy I watched it now, because I definitely wouldn't. I don't think I would have kept up with the series if I watched it earlier. I'm just being completely frank. I don't think I would have continued the series if I would have started earlier. I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much either if I watched it earlier. You know what I'm saying?
Why is that though?
So, one off rip, just because you know you're a hardcore anime fan and I'm not that. Like I enjoy anime, but I'm not a hardcore anime fan. So the first thing I picture when I picture anime is just fights, like crazy fight scenes, blah blah blah. And clean animation. Those are like the two things that I look to for it when it comes to anime. And the series, I feel like One Piece, especially the early series, it wasn't focused on those aspects. I feel like it was a lot of character development, especially like the first. Of course, there were big fights, but the first 500, I would say like it's just straight character development. You know what I'm saying? Like until like the time skip where like it's really focused on the plot and like everything we've heard from the past, from post time skip is coming back. You know what I'm saying? All that shit. I think it's funny though to side note that like I've told you before, a lot of my favorite arcs are pre-time skip. So I'm not saying that like I wouldn't have enjoyed it, but I don't think I would have continued it because when, especially now, comparing it to like recent animes, like the cleanness of the action and the art style. I wasn't obviously a big fan of like Oda's art style until you start watching the series and then you like enjoy it. I feel like that's one of the misconceptions of it. It's like if you look at it from like afar, it doesn't look great, but like when you watch it and like build with it and like grow and like absorb yourself into like the whole the way all the characters look and the design of the world and shit, like everything is done purposefully. Like let's say when you come every character that is big is supposed to be that big on purpose. Like they're supposed to be big because they're supposed to be intimidating. You know what I'm saying? Versus like, and when they're drawing like a very attractive girl, like they're making her attractive for a reason, like or like they're making somebody look ugly for a reason. And I feel like you wouldn't really notice that until you watch the series. But yeah, to answer your question, I think now that I'm thinking about it, I probably would have went back to the show, but I just feel like because of my biggest issue with the series is the pacing. I would have definitely fell off like a while ago and probably just waited and then caught up later.
That's the one thing that I realized too, like about like good animes, bro. Their art doesn't look like your generic anime art. Yeah, it looks like its own thing. Like One Piece, it looks like an anime, but it looks like its own thing. My Hero Academia, it looks like an anime, but the art kind of looks like its own thing. Like arts that don't look like its own thing, for example, would be like Sword Art Online, Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling. They all have like the same art style, and I think that's what makes One Piece really, really kind of like attractive to watch, because like it's so weird. Like the way how people looks so weird, and everyone has their own kind of like art style. Yeah, it's really crazy.
I think it's super unique. Like just the series in general. Like I could truly understand why somebody would say like this is the greatest anime. I'm not saying it is the greatest anime, but I can truly understand why somebody would say that, just because one, there is no other anime about pirates. That's it. And two, they can never be another anime about pirates, or it will be thought of being instantly compared to One Piece. You know what I'm saying? Like let's say Dragon Ball, a show about a martial artist, done a million times. Fucking Naruto, a show about ninjas, done a million times. A fucking Bleach, a show about fucking demons, done a million times. You know what I'm saying? A show about pirates is super unique. You know what I'm saying? That's just one layer of it, the pirates. Two, adding the devil fruits and the power system, that's a whole other level of it. And then the uniqueness of I would say the uniqueness of like the character designs, like you said, there's just another level. There's just so many levels of uniqueness to this series that add on to like what makes it great. I think, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, like I said before, I was just never interested in pirates, so I would have never thought that the show was interesting. You know what I'm saying?
What was like the because I know you're the type of dude like, yo, we watch something, right, and then if it really feels bad to you, like you're not gonna invest your time in something that you feel like it's gonna be wasted time. What episode or what arc did you watch and you feel like, okay, now I can invest my time seriously on this like show? Like when did you know?
Oh, when did I know I liked it?
Yeah.
I obviously I enjoyed the series from the beginning because I obviously wouldn't have watched it. I enjoyed the thought of One Piece before I watched it. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew who Monkey D. Luffy was. Like I knew about Ace's death. I knew about Dragon. I knew about a whole bunch of shit about the series before I even watched it. You know what I'm saying? But I think I just had like just what my overall just like misconceptions of the series. And I think but I think the arc that really like pulled me in of the show was 100%. It was Alabasta. Like I really enjoyed Alabasta. But like what took the series from just being a normal anime and for something like, yo, I need to watch that next episode right now, it was Water 7. Like Water 7 and Annie's Lobby is my peak like arcs. Like it's two of my favorite arcs of like anime in general. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the second we got into Water 7, it was just lit. Like instantly you got into Water 7, Usopp got robbed. You're finding about like, bro, that Usopp scene really got me. Like I was like, bro, like you feel for this thing, like you feel me? Like he's literally like, bro, I'm useless. Like why am I even here? Like I just let these niggas run through me like I wasn't shit. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, the Usopp and Luffy fight. It's like that dialogue with Luffy and Usopp in that, like when they were sitting down and talking about it, like when it first started popping off, that's some of the most realistic dialogue. Like it felt like real, like people talking. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like and I understood both rationales and why they were both doing it. I totally I see a lot of people like mad about why Usopp did what he did, and it's like you have to. A lot of people have a hard time putting themselves in other people's shoes, and it's like if you've seen what happened to him, and then him hearing from his captain like, "Yo, something has no longer use for me. I don't like. Let's get something else. Let's get something new now." Of course, he would feel like, especially after what just happened to him, he would feel like, all right, I'm useless to now. He's gonna get rid of me to get somebody else. Like, you know what I'm saying? Of course he would feel, and of course the whole backstory about the Mary and shit. Like, of course he would, and prior the season before that, the arc before that, which was Skypiea, he saw that the boat was alive. Shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's just so many shit where it's like, of course he would feel that way. Like, of course, real friends get into fights. Like, you feel me? Like, that's just what it is. And also, on top of that, it takes somebody that's mature to know, like, yo, I overreacted. Like, that wasn't, like, I should say sorry about that fight. You know what I'm saying? So that's fucking amazing. And then Robin, that's literally one of the best written female anime characters of all time. Like I don't want to hear no arguments between what about Sakura? What about no, there's none, not even one. Like I think one thing that a lot of people misconstrued about One Piece is the way that the characters are drawn versus the way that the characters are written. I think obviously the way they're drawn is overly sexualized, but I think the way that they're written makes me not like focus on that. You know what I'm saying? Like the way Robin and let's say the way Nami is written, like of course she would use her body to get whatever she needs. You know what I'm saying? And Robin, she's been running since she was a child. Of course she would she's attractive, so of course she would use that to her advantage. You know what I'm saying? It's the little things like that that make me really enjoy the show. And obviously, I'm not a big fan of fan service, and I feel like other than Sanji, there's really no fan service in the show like that.
To me, what hooked me onto the show was the hat scene with Nami and Luffy. I thought that was just a real nigga moment. Like it's like, yo, I'm your friend, I'm gonna take care of business. And when he took care of business, you're like, damn, that nigga Luffy's the GOAT. So maybe that's what kind of hooked me onto the show. What really made me like the show was the Skypiea arc. From what I remember, and it's a different experience for me because I seen this show way back, talking middle school. So to me, I can't really remember why exactly Skypiea made me hooked to the show, but that's when that went from me watching 3 episodes a day to watching 10 to 12 episodes a day because of that arc.
I know why. Like I said, before, me watching it now versus you watching it when you were a kid. Of course, I know exactly why you fell in love with the series. Especially before Skypiea, it felt obviously One Piece isn't grounded, but it felt very, very okay, we're gonna be sailing the sea to get to point A to point B. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Skypiea kind of turned it to okay, this is some different shit. There's people living in the sky, and then there's everybody thinks it's not real, and only real niggas got there, and then Rogers was there, and then it's just Skypiea is super important. I've seen a lot of people say yo, just skip Skypiea. No, that's stupid. It's super important to the plot of the series. I personally just feel the hype for it was just a little overhyped. For me watching it, just because I just expected so much when I felt like I got everything I got other than the way Skypiea was, the lore. That was the best part for me. The characters, I didn't really care too much about the side characters. Where I feel like Skypiea is a worse version of Alabasta. It's very similar. Civil War. There's this one final super OP boss that you gotta face at the end. Everybody gets their 1v1 solo fights and shit. So I felt like Skypiea, the theme of it was fire. Them being in the sky and the poneglyphs and all that shit. That was dope. And that finding out about Nell and shit, that shit was cool. But I feel just everything else was just kind of the side characters. I didn't really care about any of them that, to be honest.
The way how it went for me in terms of rating before the time skip, it was Skypiea. There's El Pal Down counts before, El Pal Down and then Alabasta. That's how I looked at it. But I'm currently rewatching it. I wonder how it's gonna be when I rewatch it because I'm at the part where Luffy just escaped from Smoker, so I still got a long way to go, but it's gonna be really interesting because I haven't seen that show in a long time.
Yeah.
So
what's it called? I guess since you are rewatching it, I might as well have it on record now. I'm not gonna say what is your top. We'll just both say our top 5 arcs.
Okay. So my top 5 arcs would be, I'm gonna say Skypiea, Impel Down, Punk Hazard, and then I really do like the I really do like the fucking Watergate 7. That Lucio, that fight was crazy, bro. The Gear 2 fight, bro. That shit was wild. And then after that, I would have to say There's so many arcs. I would say I'm really enjoying Egghead right now, even though it's like it's not even done. Wano, I don't know. I feel like Wano wasn't really hard for me, but I didn't really like it that much.
I think
Like,
it's tough to say just because I didn't know that Wano was like when it was released. It was like almost like 3 years of being released. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I couldn't imagine just waiting every other week to like watch the episode or some shit like. Versus where I watched it, I just watched it straight through. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my biggest issue with the One Piece anime specifically, because I know it's not like a big issue in the manga, but my biggest issue with the series is the pacing. I feel like it just drags on way too long for a lot of the series. But if I had to say my top 5, also I find it funny that all your top 5 is pre-time skip, you know, but it's the same with me, the majority. I would say first is Water 7. Like I said, that was literally my favorite arc. Like it was just phenomenal, especially leading into Annie's Lobby. I think one is Water 7. Second is Annie's Lobby. You know, the rematch, Gear 2 rematch. That shit was fire. 3 is Impel's Down. Impel Down was fire as hell. Shout out my nigga Bon Clay. My nigga Bon Clay, real ass nigga. And then we met Jinbei for the first time. Impel Down was fire. And then number 4, I would say Egghead. Egghead's number 4. Egghead is just. I just love everything. Like there hasn't been anything I didn't like about it so far. Like I have to give it like props. Like the animation fire, the action fire, the story fire.
Bro, the story's fire, and I feel like Egghead's like it shows like they mastered the animation. Like
I think they mastered
the way how
everything.
they were. Yeah, I was like, yo, they mastered that shit. Like, of course, like towards the end of Wano, we were seeing that it was getting really, really good. But that fight scene with Zoro versus the fucking what you call those fucking clones? Sifo, yeah. Yo, that fight scene was crazy, bro. I'm like, yo, if they keep the animation like that throughout the show, I'll be happy, bro. Cause I'm tired of seeing these like, I feel like Wano was just a class battle, just straight clashing versus like I felt like it was more fluid, like the combat was more fluid in Egghead.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think there was a lot of clashing. But yeah, like you said, I think they perfected everything in Egghead when it comes to the storytelling, the writing, the characters, and also on top of that, like you know, I'm a big fan of like futuristic settings. So the fact that they're in like a futuristic city, fire, fits, gas, like it's just. And on top of that, one thing I love about this season specifically, Egghead, is that the team is all together. I feel like the story shines more when they're all together versus when they're split up, which I feel like that's like 50% of the show. So I was super happy that they were all together in Egghead. So
Did you like the Thriller Bark arc? That's when they were fighting like that shadow dude, right? Gecko Morio, yeah. I thought that was pretty interesting.
I think it was needed. I think because it's literally in between 2 big arcs, so it was definitely needed to like one show the warlord, of course, Gecko Moria, and 2 it felt very Scooby-Doo-ish, which was pretty cool, you know. Very fun to see. Like I said, I think it was needed, but it wasn't one of my favorites. I think obviously the ending of that arc, you know, nothing happened. It was gas, obviously. But I think it's like how I see it. I think it's a better version of that arc with the Fire and Ice Island. Is that what it's called?
Fire and Ice Island. Damn, so long ago, I don't even know.
Damn, it was before Wano. Yeah, right? No, not before Wano. Before Wano was they were on the elephant. It was before Zao. Like, before Zao was
This before Zao was on
Whole
Whole Cake, yeah.
It was before Whole Cake, I think. Yeah, before Whole Cake. I forget. Anyways, yeah, I enjoyed Middlemark. Middlemark was solid.
I feel like Punk Hazard and then Desora was like two good like arcs back to back. I fucked with it, especially Desora because I like the Doflamingo storyline.
Yeah, Jess Rosa was
Yeah.
definitely a fire arc. What's it called? I think, okay, to end it off, do you have any unpopular opinions? Yeah, any unpopular opinions?
Any unpopular about One Piece? Like,
Like what? I guess one of mine would be I didn't really care about Ace when he died.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Why?
So
If anything, it would have been the opposite. I didn't really care about Bon Clay, but go on.
That's not nigga Barclay. Don't disrespect he sacrificed himself so Luffy could make it, bro. That's a real nigga, bro. Like, why? Like, this nigga stayed in prison, but he's still there to this day. Like, come on, he's a real nigga, bro. The reason why, one, I just felt like they didn't. It was more like the concept of Ace was cool, was more interesting than Ace was. I'm talking about at that point. Now I fuck with Ace because of everything that we've learned about him and shit. But at that point where he died, I was like, I felt bad for Luffy. I didn't really care that Ace died. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I felt bad for him losing somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt bad for that more than I felt bad for the character.
I can see what you mean. I definitely think if you watched it the way I watched it,
No, yeah, definitely.
you would probably feel it more.
Yeah, no,
I could see what you caring more about Ace, like probably by the Sora saga, because then we get introduced to Sabo, and they kind of talk about the storyline between the three of them.
Yes.
So I feel like if they kind of introduced that a little bit sooner before that happened and fell down, then you probably care more. But I was shocked, bro, because it was like, bro, like to anime watchers, bro, when a huge event happens and there's an objective, typically the main character always achieves their objective.
No, yeah, like,
you know what I mean?
Like saving Rukia or like going to find Sasuke or whatever. I know what you mean.
Yeah. And for Luffy to go through all that struggle of fighting that poison nigga from getting fucked up and then going to see Ace and then Ace dies right there, it's like, that was like a big shock to me. And I thought Ace was a pretty cool character, and I thought he was going to be more involved in the show later on in Luffy's, like, in terms of like helping Luffy and helping Whitebeard. But it was just shocking because the character went somewhere where I didn't expect. I didn't expect him to die for some reason. I wasn't expecting him to die there.
I could definitely, like I said, I knew about his death prior, so obviously that affects how I see it. Like, I knew it was coming. And I guess obviously if I had, but I think before I knew he was gonna die, but I still had hopes, just like you said, that we would get more of him and we would get more of his backstory and more of like him helping Luffy, but we didn't get any of that until he died. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get his backstory until he died. we didn't see how much he helped Luffy until he died. You know, so that's why it didn't affect me as much until after his death.
I would say probably I don't know how well people like the Fishman Island arc, but I do not give a fuck about that nigga Jinbe at all.
Oh,
Or yeah, I don't care about his character at all. Like Jinbe is not an interesting character to me. Bon Clay is not an interesting character to me. I don't really care about that nigga. I know you do.
It's not like. So to put it in perspective, I didn't. It's the same situation that with what's his name with fucking damn, why am I forgetting her name? With Robin. She was number 4, or no, Mrs. Sunday or whatever. Like she was just another random character, and then we later find out more about her, which made her interesting. It was the same with Bon Clay. Like he was just another villain that they were fighting, and then for him and Luffy, for him to just pop up and save Luffy, and then Luffy almost dying, and him carrying Luffy through the snow and fighting the wolves, and like literally holding it down for this thing, like they were best friends. It was just, I don't know, it just made me like him a lot. It just made me like him a lot. Not that I'm saying I care for him, I just like him way more because you know, of what he did, pretty much. You know, like he literally sacrificed everything to help somebody he really doesn't.
I ran him,
yeah, you know what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I can't stand it. I was like, yo, why did he do that? Like, I was like, damn, he really just did that.
I see it more for like Luffy is just that nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he just sees like, bro, like Luffy considers me a friend. Like he's like, you know, it's a version of like. Luffy has this weird version of like talk no jutsu with like, you don't know, so he'll just talk to the villain and like they'll be cool after a little bit. It's like Luffy doesn't have to talk to niggas. Like he's just around niggas and niggas just like fuck with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like niggas just fuck with his energy, the way he gives, like the way he like lives life. So I think it was just a situation where it's like, damn. I think before that he said, yo, yeah, you're my friend. And he was like, damn, this nigga considers me his friend. Like, I have to hold it down for him. That's kind of how I see it. But, yeah. I did care. I do care more about Bon Clay. Now I care about Ace more than Bon Clay, but at that point, I just cared. I fucked with his sacrifices and stuff. But, yeah, can you think of like a hot take or
I don't know if this is a hot take, but I feel like Big Mama shouldn't be a fucking warlord. I mean, like Emperor of the Sea. I don't feel like she's like a interesting enough character to be Emperor of the Sea. I didn't care about that. The whole Wano arc and the whole Cake Island arc. I didn't care about Big Mom once, but I cared about fucking Kaido, and I cared about fucking Big Mom's son. What's his name? Katakuri, yeah. Big Mom as a character is not interesting to me. I saw her backstory, how she was a big ass baby and everything. I just don't care about that lady. I don't know if people actually fuck with her, but I don't fuck with her. I feel like if she was cut out of the show and replaced by that dude, that would be fine with me.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really care about Big Mom like that. And I feel like what made Whole Cake interesting to me was the whole Sanji shit. You know, that's what really pulled me into that whole arc. Like, I didn't really care about the whole Big Mom situation, but I do think she definitely feels like compared to like Kaido or Whitebeard or like Shanks, like she definitely feels like the weakest out of like the 4 emperors. But I did find her more interesting when her and Kaido were like, yo, let's work together to find the One Piece. I think that was interesting because of how powerful she is. She has like a whole army or whatever. And I think both of them together definitely could have found the One Piece, like with how strong both their armies are. But yeah, I definitely agree. I think honestly, in my opinion, when it comes to villains, One Piece isn't like the best at villains. That's just.
And I think she was kind of like a stepping stone for seriousness, like to kind of like uplift the seriousness of the show. Although the show was serious by the time they got to her, I think it was just a way to add like, okay, now we're fighting emperors.
Yeah.
Like we're fighting, but like it's like, dude, it's like she's weak sauce, bro. Like in terms of like what she can do. Like I'm not saying she's weak. Her powers is OP, but I feel like she wasn't going like crazy. Like everything she was doing wasn't like. I wasn't surprised by it. But what I was really surprised about in the show was Shanks, bro. Like, Shanks is no joke, bro. Like, he's kind of a scary character because he looks like a nice guy, but he's willing to get his hands dirty, bro. Like, this nigga, he really kills niggas for real. Like, he don't give a fuck. Especially if you attack his buddies, bro. Like, that scene when he did to fucking Captain Kidd, bro, I was like, yo, this nigga really annihilated his whole crew. In 2 seconds, bro.
I find it funny how they pretty much showed in the prior arc, like that Kid, Law, and Luffy were able to take down an emperor, and then the next arc, those two separately tried to take down an emperor and lose. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Law fought Blackbeard and lost, and then Kid fought Shanks and lost. I find that very interesting. Like, what does that mean? I think they're setting up for them to get stronger, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think Kid fully awakened or used his powers to their full potential, and I don't think the same with Law either. So I think they're using them losing to like set something up. I don't know what it is there, but I think they're trying to set something up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they got one off, bro. One off hits, bro. I was like, damn.
Both of them. I think they wanted to show how strong Blackbeard was and how strong Shanks is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Have you heard about some of the theories about Blackbeard?
Like what?
Like he has like multi personality disorder.
I wouldn't be surprised. You know, I haven't heard that.
Yeah. There's like this whole theory that like he has like two different personalities, and that's why he's able to use several devil fruits, and that's why he has like the 3 skulls on his flag, because there's 3 different texts, and I think that has to do with his devil fruit power. Like the black power is not really his devil fruit power; it's someone else living inside of him. And basically, like there's like 3 different texts, and then that's why remember when they first introduced them, Luffy was walking away, and then he said them instead of just him. Have you seen that when he's like, oh, I'm gonna go after the One Piece, and he was like, I guess you're going after it too, and then Luffy said, come on guys, let's go, and then Nami was like, who is he? And then Luffy said, not him. He said them.
I think
instead of,
I don't know.
I think he was talking about his crew when I first personally watched it.
That's kind of what I was like.
But
it made
people
it seem
are,
like from that line, it just made it seem like, oh, Luffy was aware of what was going on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, them as in like he knows that like they were probably like a crew. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of
yeah.
I mean, but the multiple personality thing is definitely interesting. I think the whole getting 2 devil fruits is super interesting. That's why I really fuck with Blackbeard as a villain. I think, or just as a character in general. Even though we haven't gotten a lot from him, I think it's super cool how just him as a person. It's funny because he's not the main villain, but he's somewhat the main villain. For somebody who's like the main somewhat villain, he's lost a lot. Like, not lost, but like he's almost gotten his ass whooped a lot of times. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that nigga's OP, and then he got 2 fruits. I think it's different, bro. So I want to see I want to see if he gets more, or does that mean Luffy will get 2 fruits? Like, who knows? Like, I don't know.
Did you hear about the crocodile theory? So there's like a theory that crocodiles essentially was a female, cause but he got changed. His gender got changed when he linked up with forgot. Nah, remember that the girl from the dragon. The dragon, she has the ability to change genders.
I think I heard that theory before.
And they think, I don't know why people think this. They think Crocodile is related to Luffy. Like, that's Luffy's mom. And there's like this whole theory about it. There's like a whole theory about it.
I feel like, I don't know, Dragon would have been hip to something. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying he would have said something, but like the fact that his right hand man is that person, and then, I don't know, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see what comes next from the series. I definitely am happy that I watched it. And if you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it. I think it's definitely something to watch. Especially, I feel like a lot of people complain. They're like, oh, you binge a show and it's over. I feel like you could binge it. If you take your time with One Piece, you can binge it forever. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you like binging shows, I definitely recommend watching it. It's really good, honestly. I can definitely see why people say it's the best anime.
Is there?
Glamour of wearing diamonds.
Diamonds bring
Status.
elegance and prestige. Their brilliance makes